I started my YouTube channel a little over a year ago, and it has completely changed my life with only 1,449 subs as of today. So today I wanted to summarize the 5 key lessons that I've learned in the past year since becoming a YouTuber and recently getting monetized. And I was not expecting half of these, so if you've been on the fence about starting a YouTube channel, I hope by the end of this video I can convince you to do so, because it's been absolutely amazing. Let's start with number 1. Whoops, here we go. Okay, lesson number 1 that I've learned is contradictory to most other things in life, and that's to think small. A lot of times with things that we do, we want to think big and we want to dream really big. But with YouTube, for me, it was very overwhelming at first when I started, because there's a million channels out there teaching you how to do it, and you're going to run into so much contradictory advice that it just gets overwhelming and it makes you want to quit. So the way that I beat all this was that I started as small as I possibly could think of, which was I need to create one single short form video. That is it. As soon as I committed to that, I knew that it would be possible to get momentum, because momentum is going to be the most important thing when you're first starting out. So I just used my iPhone, I got a very cheap mic off of Amazon, and then I posted my very first short form video, and the next day it got something like 600 views, and that was pretty much it. And I'll just play it real quick so you can see the difference of how far I've come in a year. Check it out. One of the greatest investors of all time, which you may have heard of him, Warren Buffett. So after I posted that, I got really ambitious and I started posting 2 shorts a week. And then it got to 1 long form video a month. And then it got to 2 long form videos a month. And then finally this year in 2025, I said, I'm gonna do 1 long form video every single week. That's 52 videos guaranteed. So from the time I started this channel to the time I committed to 1 video a week, it took me 6 full months just to get used to it. And for context, the people at the very top, like Alex Hormozi, for example, he posts 300 pieces of content every single week. You do not have to do that. Just start with 1 and get some momentum. And the second piece of thinking small is to know that there is no perfect video. I've had videos completely flop. I've used my iPhone. I've had crappy mics, terrible lighting, audio issues. I've had to refilm videos multiple times, which is incredibly frustrating because you feel like you just wasted all your time on basically nothing. It's also been really frustrating to have an idea in my head of what I want to create, but not being skilled enough to create it. And so I'm just stuck with something mediocre that I know could be better than it is, and there's really nothing I can do about it except put in the reps and put in the time. And so what I learned is you just have to fail forward and fail as fast as possible. Basically, the filter that I use for if I should post a video or not is, does this hurt my personal brand? If not, just post it. Post it with bad audio, post it with poor lighting, post it with terrible color grading. It's okay, just make the next one better. And that's the beauty of all this. You can just make the next one better and improve one thing at a time, and then eventually you'll be a year, 2 or 3 years down the line, and you'll see how far you've come, which is really, really cool to see. Stupid. Okay. Lesson number 2 is that I'm a lot more creative than I even realized before I started this whole thing. Never in a million years did I think I was able to create anything really cool. And I know that sounds lame, but mainly it's because of my mindset that I had. I pictured myself as just purely an athlete and maybe a numbers guy, and that's pretty much it. I didn't play any instruments growing up. I didn't do any type of acting or theater school. I know nothing about cameras, lighting, audio, really any of that stuff. But the amount of creativity needed to think of an idea, film it, edit it, bring in audio, make sure it sounds good, think about the pacing of the video or the thumbnail design. Like, there's a lot of work that goes into creating YouTube videos, and it's way more than I expected. I remember before I became a creator, I used to think that people who made, let's say, a 12-minute video only spent 12 minutes on that video that day. And so when I would hear people say that they put in so much work into a 12-minute video, I thought it was kind of silly, but now I realize how much it actually takes to make this happen. And so I have a lot more respect for everybody out there who's creating and building things. And on the same topic of creativity, I learned how to steal like an artist. So on YouTube, have you ever noticed how everybody seems to be making the same types of videos? In fact, this video is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. The way that you steal like an artist is that you get inspiration from others, because rarely do we have really, really good ideas that come from scratch. Typically, artists see what other people do, they take inspiration from that, and then they add their own little twist and creativity to it. And that's pretty much how YouTube works. That's also where I got my 3 biggest video ideas. The My Net Worth series I got from this YouTuber Gabby Peterson. That's the first place I saw somebody do it. One of my more recent videos where I talk about 11 rules that help me save a bunch of money, I took from Gabe Bolt. And then one of my first videos that actually did really well was 13 ways to stay poor, and I took that idea from Alex Hormozi, and he got the general idea from Charlie Munger, who got it from a German mathematician. So everybody's stealing ideas from everybody else. And that's something I wasn't really aware of until I started creating on YouTube. Lesson number 3 is that one video can change everything. The cool thing about making progress on YouTube is that it's exponential, it's not linear. Meaning, most of your videos are gonna flop, which is a bummer, but all it takes is one to absolutely take off and change the course of your channel, and therefore the course of your life. After about 4 or 5 months of creating shorts and a couple long form videos that didn't really go anywhere, I made the My Net Worth at 28 video, and that one absolutely took off. It gave me hundreds of subs, over 2,000 watch hours, and it accounted for more than half of my progress towards monetization in the first year. In fact, it did better than 20 plus long form videos that I made in 2024 and the first half of 2025. That video alone basically carried my channel until I decided to double down on what works, and I made a My Net Worth at 29 video, and that basically took me the rest of the way towards monetization. So out of the 40 plus videos that I've made so far, 2 of them accounted for basically all of the progress that you see today. It also helped give me an indicator of what people actually cared about. Some videos I tried to heavily over edit, some I tried to make more cinematic or just do crazy things, but people seem to crave more authenticity than anything else. Those 2 videos alone were the lowest effort videos that I could possibly make. Even the thumbnails I didn't put much effort or thought into, and yet they performed the best. And so I learned from that, and I decided, okay, maybe I don't talk about trading options or investments as much. Maybe I should talk more about personal finance and the frugal side of things, and that seems to be working a lot more for my channel because I've listened to what works on YouTube and I've watched what's grown and what hasn't, and I've adjusted my strategy accordingly. And so in some ways this channel's taken on a life of its own, and it's telling me where to go rather than me just making videos for myself that nobody cares to watch. You thought I was going somewhere else, didn't you? The 4th thing that I've learned is that I enjoy creating far more than I enjoy just scrolling on my phone and consuming all day. I've completely fallen in love with the entire creation process, from finding new ideas, twisting them to my own, writing them, recording, editing, the whole bit. I just find it a lot of fun, and it's a way better way to spend my time than just watching movies or playing video games or whatever else I was doing before I was making videos. And to be honest, my favorite part lately is all of the little transitions that I've been doing and just moving around my house and finding creative ways to find new shots versus just the typical sit at a table and try to look like I'm in a perfect position and my posture's right and my hair's good. That to me quickly got boring and very draining, and so it's far more fun to walk around my house and find goofy places that I can record and do silly stuff, because that gives me the joy that I like when it comes to creating videos, but then I can also still deliver value and talk about personal finance and things that other people are interested the same way I am. So I'm finding ways to kind of blend the 2 things together to make this a very enjoyable experience. And again, like I just mentioned, all it takes is one video to blow up, and so that little bit of excitement is always in the back of my mind as I'm creating the next one, because I'm like, maybe something will change, maybe it'll do really well. Most likely not, but who cares? I'm having fun. The 5th and final lesson that I've learned from creating videos on YouTube is that my work matters. That's something that I didn't really consider when I started, but there are basically a few ways that I've noticed this happen. Number 1, I've seen it personally in my life with people that I know. They've come up to me and asked me questions about saving or investing, or people have tried to hop on calls with me because they want me to look at their investment portfolios and give my opinion on them. Other people have joked with me and said that they considered spending or buying something, and then they thought, wait, what would Logan do? Please don't do that. I'm not sitting here trying to pretend like I know way more than you do about personal finance or anything like that. I'm simply sharing my journey, and then hopefully maybe you can learn 1 or 2 things or be entertained. I don't know, but that's kind of the point of it. The second way I've seen this is through the comment section and the things that you guys tell me about. I learned very quickly that I am not as carefree about other people's opinions or comments as I thought I might be when I started. Generally speaking, I'm a pretty confident person, and I don't mind or care about what other people are thinking. I just kind of live my life how I want to live it. But the comments on YouTube videos specifically, the negative ones, they irritate me way more than I expected them to. And I'm learning very quickly that I just have to ignore them, and I cannot respond back, because ultimately nobody on the internet is looking to change their mind or be open-minded and learn something new. They're just trying to emphasize their point and say how they're right. And fair enough, maybe that's what I do too sometimes. In fact, in my net worth video, the very first one I did, I messed up one of the calculations, and a lot of you pointed it out. And so the second time I adjusted it to the correct version, which I looked up, and apparently it is the correct version, and then still people now flipped and they said, oh, you did it wrong this time, you should have done it the first way you did it. So there's really no winning, but at least in that first instance, I learned from what you guys were telling me, and I said, okay, let me adjust some things to make it better for next time, make it a little bit more accurate. And then aside from that, there have been a lot of positive comments saying that people enjoy my work and that it's really helped them, or maybe they've thought about something differently, or even been inspired to maybe reach the same point that I'm at by the time they're in their late 20s, which is really cool to hear. That's not something I was ever expecting when I started this whole journey. So those are the 5 lessons that I've learned from the past year. And then I finally got monetized like a week ago, and I've already made, I think, $56.13, which is insane in just a week to make that kind of money for doing something really fun and only having, 1,500 subscribers. So what does that come out to? 50 bucks a week, 200 a month, 2,400 a year, just for fun, right? I don't know any other hobby that pays that kind of dividend, and it's only gonna grow as my channel grows and I get more views and I make better videos for you guys. So anyway, maybe you can make a YouTube channel too, and then in a year you can make $56. Not a bad deal. But if you want to see the My Net Worth video at 28, the first one that crushed for my channel, check it out right here, and I'll see you guys there. Peace.